Phil Bennett with Real Estate Repairs and Real Remodeler. He is a licensed contractor in the Charleston area, has been in business for over 24 years. And I asked Phil today to come and talk about a couple devices that you can install in your house that will be somewhat of a safety feature. One would be if you have a water issue, if you have a water leak. And the second one would be if you have a surge to your house. And we're going to start off with talking about leaks in the house, because that can cause a lot of damage. I know that can be, from an insurance standpoint, the amount of damage that can be caused by a water leak is fairly significant because it can happen in a short amount of time. Now, there are a couple ways that you can stop the leak, but I'll let Phil kind of talk about if you do have a leak and process that you may want to go to stop it. Phil?
Yeah, David, thanks for chatting with me or bringing me on to chat about this. If you have a leak at the kitchen sink, there's a valve underneath and you can turn off that valve, or at the toilet, there's various fixtures that do have shutoffs underneath them. That would be your first line of defense if you can see it coming from that fixture. After that, you'd probably want to see if there's a whole house shutoff. Some houses have them. They're in the garage, laundry room. Sometimes they're under the kitchen sink. If you have them, a lot of homes do not have them. I think it should be code. It makes common sense, but a lot of homes don't have them. Other than that, at the street, you have your meter box, and you should go out and with a water key, they're about $9-10 hardware store. You should always have one of those and know where your meter base is. It's very important to know where your meter base is. If you need to go out and dig it up and find out exactly where it is, because it's got pine straw and grass over it, because the water companies now do it by transmission. They do not go out and open it up and read it like they used to in the old days. So you really need to uncover that, take a picture of it, put it in a cabinet so you know where it is. Print the picture out, don't put it on your phone because you got to go through 1,000 photos. And if you have an emergency, you just know where it is. So.
You know, one of the new devices that are out now is a way to monitor it. Moen has this device, it's called the Flow. And I think that's another way that if you do have a water leak and you're not home, it's a way to stop the leak. You want to talk a little bit about Flow?
Yeah, the Moenflo, it's a relatively new product. Hasn't seen a lot of use, but it's a great water monitoring device designed to detect leaks. It's installed on the main water supply of your home, and because it's installed in line, it detects all of the water going into your house. It has 3 sensors on it that actively monitor flow, pressure, and temperature. They will let you know basically if there's an issue or there's a problem. It also does diagnostics at night to detect leaks. That's when there's no water running whatsoever. And that can tell you, is there a toilet that is running continually? Is there a small pinhole leak somewhere? So it's a great device, and you can look on an app on your phone and that will tell you all this. All right, it's very smart, but they are a great water saving device also, because you can go in and look at your usage. Do you have a teenager who's taken an hour shower? Which that never happens in my house.
Right.
And other things, you know, did you leave a hose on outside? That will let you know your usage and monitor your usage.
And it's amazing, a little bit of leaks continuously can add up over time. And when you're paying most people that are hooked up to city water and city sewer, every gallon of water you pay a gallon of sewer. So it's really important to stay on top of that. So if you see that leak, it's a good idea to check your toilets or your faucets to make sure they're not leaking, because it can add up over time. So 3 things to remember as far as a water leak is concerned. If you have a water leak, try to find the device and shut it off at the device. If you can't find that, then if you have a whole house shut off, that's a great place to do it. Newer houses, I think, all have them. And then the other one would be out to your meter. Now remember, like Phil said, most meters are covered up now. So you want to make sure that you know where it is, and you have a key like this that basically goes into the meter, and there's a valve there. You just turn it. So that's how you cut it off. And then if you want to take another step, which is the Moenflo, that's a great device to have as well, because you can see it on your app. And if you're not home, hopefully it shuts off the water, you know, that you couldn't shut off if you're not home. So anyway, take a look at that. Now we have another device I think that's important, which is a whole house surge protector. And I guess the question that I would have for you, Phil, is why would you need a whole house surge protector when you got these power strips around the house?
Well, there's a lot of things that you do not plug into the power strips. Your washer, your dryer, sometimes TVs. There's not enough room behind a TV for a surge protector. We see that quite a bit. There are sprinkler systems. There's a lot of systems in the home that you cannot put a power strip on.
Here's one that Siemens makes, and I think you just hook it up through your panel box, so you need an electrician to do that. So how does it hook up, and how does it detect a surge, I guess would be?
Well, it actually detects the increase, let's say lightning strike, okay? In case of a lightning strike, where a lot of these devices get ruined is in summer storms, it will divert the excess voltage to the ground wire coming through it. So there's a little electronic switch in there. It's a lot smarter than I am. They have electronic engineers who figure this all out. The voltage builds up to a level that will not handle the equipment and the wiring, and it shuts it off and it diverts that power into the ground.
Okay, good. So is it very difficult to install?
Not really. A licensed electrician, anytime you're going inside a panel, you want to use a licensed electrician. Don't do this yourself. Even if you have a little bit of understanding, just don't do it yourself. Find someone who knows what they're doing. Installation is probably $300, somewhere in that. It could be a little more, could be a little less, depends on what's near the panel, and if you need another breaker, sometimes you have to move breakers around, but yeah, it could be more or less than that. But $300 is a very simple install. It should cover.
We didn't talk about it earlier, but what would be the cost to install the Moenflo as well? Because, I guess, like you said, it's all where the location is. Do you have to run a shut-off valve? I mean, there's a lot of things that could be involved in it, but if you have a whole house shut-off valve, what would it cost to install something like that?
Yeah, install on the Moenflo is probably between $250 and $500, somewhere in there. You may have to add a valve. There is electric that goes to that, but it has a long extension cord. You can get extensions to the extensions, so that's not that much of an issue. But sometimes you do not have a water shut-off. It's good to have that where it's accessible, like in a garage. So to run the pipes from under the house into the garage, is not that difficult. That could be a little more costly to do that, but your install, if it's a simple, $250. If it's a little more complicated, $500, and it could be up. But at the same time, you're saving so much money if you have a catastrophic leak. Water damage is very commonplace, and especially in the winter months when you have pipes that freeze. And we've had homes where they've had $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 worth of damage.
Wow.
This would just stop it like that, and you wouldn't have to do that. So there is some cost to it, but the benefit is you have peace of mind, and you're never going to have your house torn up for months putting the house back together from a water leak.
Great. Well, Phil, thank you so much. So kind of the things to take away if you're owning a house or going to buy a house, consider some kind of device to monitor your water flow. At minimum, make sure you have a whole house shut off that you can get to. And next, consider a whole house surge protector. Again, there are devices that you have in your house that are very expensive, such as your HVAC systems or your washer dryer, that are not set up or backed up by a surge protector. So, Phil, thank you so much for spending your time here, and I appreciate it.
Yeah,
take care.
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.